Hello everybody, so I'm just coming into the Death Normies Party's annual convention, and we have a really big slate of issues that are going to be discussed. One of the first and foremost ones is, do sex robots count as 2D waifus or 3D women? This is a really contentious issue because some members, particularly the ones from British Columbia, argue that it should be classified under the same category as body pillows in 3D, pseudo 3D, 2D waifus, or it should just be considered the same as normal women. Then there's kind of a compromise proposal that only like cat girl sex robots will be considered to be acceptable, but normal ones are going to be banned. So that's a question. So as a party, we have we've long since rejected transsexualism because that's degenerate. However, there's the question as to whether female to male can be considered dick girls. And this is a controversial issue because on one hand, it's like what a dick girl is, it's a biological female that's born with a dick. But in the tranny's case, they get one surgically added. So does it count? Does it not count? I don't know, it's going to be a controversial issue. There's always a group of delegates who try to repeal the gag rule. See, we implemented the gag rule a decade or so, and it...
No information, you pay nothing. It's really free, there's no cash.
Oh yeah, sure, thank you. Cool, this is gonna be my investment for the week. I'm gonna pull a DSP or a Christian, I'm gonna win the lottery, and I'm gonna fix my tax situation. Although if you've been following the plot at all to my madness, success in the afternoon paid it off. But anyways, yeah, they're gonna vote to repeal the gag rule. And the gag rule is to prevent votes on who is best girl. Because last time there was a vote on it, there was a lot of bloodshed. The Asuka and the Asuna partisans beat each other to death, and like people were smothered with body pillows. And like what people did is beneath their like fake swords, they had real swords. So someone had like Cloud's sword, but underneath like the cardboard, there was a real sword. And he killed people with that. So like we got the gag rule, we have the maybe getting revoked, we have the dick girls, we have the sex robots, we have a vote on whether or not we're going to completely disavow the new Star Wars, and this has been coming for quite some time. But as everyone thought The Last Jedi sucked, it's gonna... These are divisive issues. The biggest thing, though, is to pick who our presidential candidate is going to be in 2020. See, we had previously chosen Trump, but Trump didn't make anime great again, and he didn't legalize memes. So we're dumping him, we're disavowing him. So we're going to try and pick a new candidate for the ticket for the Death Normies Party to choose a new person to become our supreme leader. Now people ask, Argent, why don't you run for leadership of the Death Normies Party? Well, I like to be kind of more of a Henry Clay or Alexander Hamilton or a Boss Tweed figure, kind of ruling from behind the scenes. I'll remain chairman of the party, but I don't want to be head of state or head of government. So I can control like the spoils system where people provide like body pillows and fleshlights and stuff like that in exchange for positions, and then we'll take like part of their salary in like we'll take payment in kind, which is payment in pocket. So I run the spoil system. I have no desire to be president. So like there's a bunch of candidates. DSP was going to be a shoo-in, but like when we called him and we offered to pay his flight, he said, "It is what it is, nothing I can do, but I digress." So he's out. Wings of Redemption was gonna come, but he had a heart attack after he got out of his chair. And he's currently dying in a pool of his own excrement, so he can't be leader. And I don't know, like they're just going down. Mundane Matt, we were thinking of having as like a stealth candidate. He was going to be like the backroom backstabber. We were going to run him. Everyone was going to vote for him because they didn't realize like how devious he was. But he kind of screwed that up, so he's not going to be our leader anymore. Jim is too much of a Chad. People always vote for Mr. Medicare. He actually won the ballot like 8 years ago during Gamergate, but he refused, and he said that we were, quote, a bunch of furry fags. So he's out. It's looking like it's going to be a divided convention. There's a lot of kind of small candidates running, like DigiBrony, but my money is on Yandere Dev, as he kind of exemplifies everything a true anti-normie can and should be. So I'm just here outside. I'm going to go in and get my pass, and we're going to just start exploring. We're going to start pushing the party platform. Everybody, we're live here at the official Death to Normies party convention. As you can see, the anti-normie forces are out in force. Wow, I could have come up with something better than that. So over here we have the celebrities who are here. We got the voice of Naruto. We've got Jim Cummings. We've got the voice of Zim. Let's just see who else we have here. Some people from some anime I haven't seen. Oh, we have the voice of Goku. We have Steve Blum. Let's see here. There's a whole bunch of people here. Then we have the Sheckelstein booth for the on-site framing, which I'm sure is a completely legitimate cost. Let's see, we have some people from Steven Universe, some people from, I don't know what that show is. I forget what that show is called. If you ever find that like there's a bunch of like wrestling or something on these, it's because when I'm recording these, I just kind of hold my phone to make it look like I'm not recording. That's partially how I always get away with it. So Jim Cummings, I forget, isn't Jim Cummings also the voice of Darkwing Duck? There's the voice of Ariel, so that's pretty cool. And let's just go through and see what we have. Sorry, I can't really watch the thing all the time, what I'm actually recording, so my mistake. Just a general note, because this is going to be pretty early on the playlist. I'm not doing this just to make fun of people, like just to take people to the woodshed and like call them losers, etc. That's not really the point. It's supposed to be at least partially self-parodying, because I'm obviously at this convention and I obviously make like videos on Star Wars and stuff. So it is supposed to be kind of ironic. It's also it's humor. It's just comedy. I think it's funny, the whole Death to Normies party thing. It's kind of a tongue-in-cheek. Like on some level, it is making fun of like the super spurgs and like that kind of thing. But on the other level, there's Evangeline Lilly from whatchamacallit, a bunch of different movies. Emily Dumont. I don't recall who she is. I don't know why Rob Schneider's here.
Let me see if I can get it.
Sorry, it's kind of hard to focus, but it is what it is, so I'll just read out their names. Billy Zane, I forget what he's from. There's Jason Momoa, Khal Drogo himself. Let's see here, let's just keep going. Yeah, I don't know, like what sci-fi horror movie has Rob Schneider been in? Why is he at this event? Ian Somerhalder? Yeah, oh, Jason Momoa is not around at the moment. It's kind of nice that they have, for some of them they'll have a picture of like what they're in, because I honestly wouldn't remember in a lot of cases. Let's see here. Chris Sanderin, I don't know who that is. Casey Steele, I don't know who that is. We have Amy Jo Johnson, the Pink Ranger herself. Oh yeah, William Shatner's here. I think he lives in Toronto, actually, because William Shatner's Canadian. He was actually in an I Am Canadian commercial or something like that. Or he did it as like part of a comedy bit. The reason there are a lot of Canadian actors is just the Canadian accent is very neutral. I know everybody says their accent sounds neutral. Oh, Christopher Lloyd's here. Joe Flanagan. Yeah, so... oh, Michael J. Fox is here. Cool. Obviously from Back to the Future fame. But yeah, the Canadian accent is just considered to be very neutral, and we tend to pronounce all the words. It doesn't really slur as much. The thing you've probably noticed about my accent is, and this is kind of a Southern Ontario thing, is I sometimes will skip syllables, like probably. I'll often say probably instead of probably, etc. So we're just going to take through and look at some of the stuff. So that's kind of one of the cool things here, is not just kind of the kind of more corporate things, but a lot of people, like up-and-coming artists, will come here to sell their stuff. So there'll be like a lot of jewelry they've made. That's kind of cool. We have the GameCube art. It's kind of neat. Perfect art. It's kind of cool. We got pocket watches are always a big thing. Because of Full Metal Alchemist and like steampunk and that kind of thing. We have the steampunk goggles, which is kind of cool. Let's see what else we have. There's a bunch of t-shirts. This is kind of the horror section. We got some like military stuff. There's a whole table full of buttons and things like that over here. And that's, sorry, it's kind of hard to sometimes get
I know someone to do
the recordings. Obviously movie posters. I have a bunch of those. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but if people ever wonder why I'm so into like movies and pop culture stuff, I used to work at a movie theater. I got a job at a movie theater when I think I was 14, and I worked there on and off for like 6 years. Like I worked there all through high school from grade 9 to 12, and then I'd go back there during summers. And if you work for a Cineplex in not doxing myself. Cineplex is like a monopoly in Ontario on movies, or like has 70-80% of the market share. But when you work there, you got unlimited movie tickets. So whenever you wanted, you could go and they give you 2 movie tickets. So I'd go with my friend, Abstract. I'd go with him all the time. Oh, it's kind of cool. Letter openers and keys and stuff. So yeah, I'd go with Abstract. I'd go with my parents a lot, and just kind of some other friends I had. So that was a lot of fun, and I got to see basically everything that came out. Even if it was like a bad comedy, like Terrible Bosses. Like after I was done my shift, I'd just be like, okay, I brought my clothing with me, like my normal clothes. I just change in, watch a movie, and go home, because I didn't have to pay anything for it. So that was a lot of fun. That's kind of how I got into cinema so much. There's a lot of bad aspects of the job. If you've never done ticket taking before, ticket taking is literally like the worst thing you can possibly do. It's just super boring, because most of the time you're just kind of... This is a big thing. I might have to buy one of these at some point. I had a bad experience when I bought one last year, but these are just full of various items from a certain fandom. If there was a Fire Emblem one, I would have gotten it. But there's no Fire Emblem one, there's no Zelda one, so I don't know which one I would get, to be honest. It's kind of the nerdy form of gambling. That and gacha games, which I've spent too much money on Fire Emblem Heroes over the years. And then here's the... I might get one of these, because these are only $35 for a mystery box. Oh, and it's win a PS4. That'd be cool. So, yeah, so it was cool working at a movie theater. Now all the projectors are digital, so I was one of the last generations of projectionists. That was a job I learned, so we got a bunch of armor. Kind of costume armor is a very big thing at these. What was I looking for again? And as far as cosplay goes, it varies a lot, from the good stuff to the bad stuff. Like, that girl can actually pull Samus off decently well. You see a lot of morbidly obese people who are cosplaying as well, and that stuff is always super cringe. But yeah, it's an interesting and fun time. There's another whole building, and we'll do another thing over there. But for the moment, hope you're enjoying it. Everybody, so we're here in the southern building, and we're going to head over and take a look at the 501st Legion. The 501st Legion is always here. So from what people have told me, for those of you who don't know, the 501st Legion is a group of fans of the Star Wars movies, and they all have Stormtrooper armor and or Imperial officer getup, and there's normally at least a couple people with Darth Vader armor. So they will show up at various events, etc., to celebrate the Star Wars movies, but mainly they're a charitable organization. Specifically, they raise money for like sick kids or other children's charities. From everything I know about them, they're a pretty cool group of people. So, as you can see over here, they have the Imperial Throne Room from Return of the Jedi, and they have the Praetorians, which is pretty cool. So, let's take a couple pictures of that. We have the speeder bike. So I think they do other stuff, like they'll go visit people in the hospital and they're like kids. I mean, that would be cool if you were a kid in the hospital, a bunch of stormtroopers show up. A friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, saw a gathering of them once and he yelled, "Hail Palpatine." So that's kind of cool. We have guy dressed up as Darth Vader. We got the 501st Legion patch, Canadian Garrison, which is based. I did a video last year, Darth Vader inspecting the Thought Patrol. Yeah, Make-A-Wish Foundation. And here you can pay a couple $5 for a $5 donation. They let you shoot the stormtrooper, which is pretty cool. So 2 legions, 1 force. So I think there's a Rebel Legion now too. But no, I think it's really cool for them for a bunch of guys to kind of come together in kind of their goofy hobby and do some good. Like I said, if I was in the hospital as a kid and a bunch of stormtroopers and Darth Vader showed up, that would be great. That would make my time. It's I forget. There's a couple people who do that. I forget their names, but there's a number of like voice actors or other actors. I think it was Christian Bale after the James Holmes shooting happened. He went and visited a bunch of people in the hospital, some of the victims of it. And I mean, there's no reason he needed to do that. It's not his fault that some psycho gunned a bunch of people down, but even so, I think it was a really classy thing to do. It made me gain a lot of respect for him. And you can't buy goodwill. Like, generally speaking, in my opinion, just about any amount of money you invest on goodwill is going to pay off a lot. Like, a lot of people hate Keemstar, but from everything I've heard of, Keemstar is very generous. Like, he gives a lot of money to his fans to kind of like direct charity, that kind of thing. So we have Rooster Teeth here. I haven't seen of course we have the degenerate Rooster Teeth because we have to celebrate degeneracy 365 days a year. This is Toronto after all. What was I thinking of again? So I was here yesterday, HyperX. That's kind of cool. That's actually what my headphones are that I use on my computer. However, I don't know if the drivers on my computer are broken, but the headset mic doesn't work. I just got a new mic, so it's an Audio Technica, I forget what it was, 2500. So this is the DBZ. Dragon Ball Z is kind of a big thing again because of the whole, the Dragon Ball Super TV show. So we have like a big setup here, the World Tournament, obviously. We got a giant, I think that's Shenlong. There's a couple different dragons. Well, we've got We've got the new Frieza. Then we've got, I don't know what Super Saiyan we're up to. There's Super Saiyan God, and I guess this is the one beyond Super Saiyan God. Like maybe Super Saiyan Demon or something. I don't know. I hope this background music doesn't get this video content ID flag. But yeah, there's the big Shenlong. So obviously inflatable, but it's still pretty cool. We have blue-haired Goku doing a Kamehameha, and we have Vegeta. So here we have the Xbox One exhibit. So you can play the hot new games, specifically Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I will not be getting or playing. For, I don't know, just because, to me, like I was stupid and I got Assassin's Creed Origins when it was on sale, and I really regretted it, which is shitty. They have a PUBG tournament and no DSP's not there. So yeah, we got the racing wheels. I don't know what game that is. Maybe that's Forza? Yeah, it's Forza. Got the PlayStation booth. Got Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I'm gonna actually get Shadow of the Tomb Raider. It's interesting because I never played any of the original Tomb Raider games, but when Tomb Raider the reboot came out, I got it. I loved the game. I wasn't expecting to like it, and I got Rise of the Tomb Raider, and I absolutely loved Rise of the Tomb Raider 2. Then there's the EB Games booth. You can get a refurbished PS3 for like 20 bucks here. I'm always tempted to buy a PS3 just so I can play Demon's Souls and Persona 5. But I don't know, I might get it at some point. So we got WB Games. I'm surprised they're not charging you money to look at their booth like they did with, maybe like to see the last quarter of the booth, they'll charge you money. We have Injustice 2 Elite Circuit. We have the new Spider-Man game. By the way, I'm gonna need donations to play that game for you. I need donations to pay my bills. Okay, there's the PlayStations. We got Call of Duty Black Ops 3. We got Hitman 2, even though it's like the 10th Hitman game. Let's see here. Good, I'm still recording. We have the Nintendo booth. We have that hot new console, the Switch, which I have no real desire to get. The only reason I might get a Switch is if what was it called again? What was that thing? If a Shin Megami Tensei game comes out for it, I might get it. I have no desire to get Breath of the Wild. It's a garbage game. I hate it. We have Blizzard. So we have the Diablo Eternal collection. We have Overwatch. And we have the new World of Warcraft game. That hot new World of Warcraft game with like the 2004 graphics. Let's see, Detective the Four Heavens. Okay, so we have the Space Channel, which is always cool. I've always been a big fan of the Space Channel. Oh, let's see here. They have the laser tag game, which is kind of cool. So you want to go take a look at that. So good. Camera's still running. Let's keep going. We have Star Trek Degeneracy, aka Star Trek Discovery. We have Hasbro. I got to get away from this before Adam Worski shows up, because Adam Worski's going to take it down. We have some 2D waifus over there. We have HP Omen, which is interesting because I just bought an HP Omen laptop. I got I think it's like a 2012, 2013 model, the 15-inch. I got it because it was on sale, and it had I like it because it's like a metal case. I much prefer metal to plastic. But no, I always like the HP Omen design. It's got a really good like metal keyboard, touchscreen, that kind of thing. They got Fortnite. Why you would need an HP Omen to play like Fortnite, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know, they're cool looking computers, but like I don't get, why do you need this to play Fortnite? Why wouldn't you play something like graphically intensive? I can't think of something graphically intensive at the moment. But like, come on, play something new. We got somebody who's controlling the death robots that the Death Normies party has put out. We've got, oh, that's kind of cool, duck hunt competition. Let's see. Yeah, sometimes this camera randomly stops recording. Some people think I have an iPhone. I would never give Apple my money willingly. I did have an iPod back in the day, which I really liked, because that was kind of when I started to get into audiobooks. I remember I listened to the entire Southern Victory series on that, and all the Game of Thrones books, and all the Anita Blake books, but well, the ones up to like Narcissus and Change, where it just became porn, but we can talk about that some other time. So we got some fantasy books. Somehow we have a new J.R.R. Tolkien book. I don't know. He's kind of like Tupac. He's dead, but he keeps releasing new content every year. You have the giant wall of overpriced t-shirts. No way I'm buying 2 for 1. Let me think. What was like the last kind of fan t-shirt I got? I have a t-shirt with like the Empire symbol on it, because it's kind of like fashy, but it was only like 20 bucks plus shipping. So I have Amazon Prime because I'm a good soy boy. So those are kind of cool. Let's see here. So we have just, we're getting into the artist area. So like I said, this is where you have all the people who are trying to sell their stuff. A lot of them are up and coming artists. This is how they make their money. I'm going to see if maybe there's a picture of me, of Espion, and see if I can maybe get that. Maybe I'll make that my new avatar. That's kind of cool. We got pots. We have like Vader Buddhas and that kind of thing. So that's pretty cool. I'm in the artist area at the moment. So as I said earlier, there's a lot of people, artists, who are trying to get kind of going in their careers. And this is really where they make their money. Now there's the Nameless King print. I have that up in my room, but I have the small one. Because when I was at Anime North last year, I was trying to buy the better one, and I just couldn't, because they wouldn't sell me it because it was the last one they had and they needed it for display. So, am I gonna get one? I don't know. It's kind of cool. So those are like wall scrolls. It's a really good one of Link. A couple really good ones of Link and Zelda. Yeah, the quality of the artist here ranges from awful to exceptional. It really depends upon who you come across. So, T-Toes. So it's I think that's kind of one of the cooler things. Just all the kind of the people coming here. We have the actual paintings that people have done. All kinds of different art styles, which is pretty neat. I always notice there's just very little Fire Emblem stuff. There's some of it I saw over. I keep forgetting you can't see any facial gestures, but there's some stuff over in the other area. It's Fire Emblem. So this is kind of cool. We got some planters with like Stormtrooper and Clone Trooper and Boba Fett. We got the Buddhas. We got the Batman busts, the Vader Buddhas, the C-3PO. It's all pretty cool. We have, oh, they don't have one of me there, bastards. Oh, let's see here. So yeah, I have quite a bit of art from previous ones that I just don't have anywhere to put up at the moment. When I move and I have more space, there's Leanna's booth selling the that soap, as Sammy Samosa would say, and the wax tart melts. So let's see here. What else do we have? We have some good 2D waifus. I mean, I guess they're kind of trashy waifus. This guy is really talented. He does really good Gundam and other artwork. What's his name? Yaku or whatever from Samurai Jack. That's a good one. So Radio Silence. We have Dungeons and Dragons stuff they're selling. We have, those are kind of cool. I almost want to get one of those maps. Alright, let's just try to get through this. Yeah, you have people who do other stuff that aren't. They'll make things. The problem is all of it's just really, really expensive. Because, I mean, it's handmade stuff, and handmade stuff is always expensive. Plus, it's fan stuff made to appeal to collectors. Plus, it's at a convention that I'm sure these people have to pay a pretty hefty fee. I don't know if they take a cut of their sales, but I'd imagine it's very expensive to be here. Also, a lot of these people have to probably come here from across the country. But, I mean, if you're able to sell like a print for like $20, which I imagine it costs like $1 or $2 to get those printed en masse, you can probably make bank off of these. But, I don't know, artists are always going to have trouble. Let's see here. We have some costumes. Oh, there's a little thing of me there. Let's see here. Got some more kind of cool paintings. Oh, like Kingdom Hearts stuff. That's pretty neat. Like I said, art quality varies pretty wildly. TBH. TBQH, actually. Oh, that's kind of cool. So we have kind of some of the, we have some horns. It's kind of cool. When you want to cosplay, because cosplay is a way of transcendence and channeling the power of your ancestors. Oh. Let's see here, we got some other stuff. Got some more prints. I can see, oh, this person looks like they have Fire Emblem stuff. I'll have to come back and see if they have anything cool. And then this guy does propaganda posters, which is kind of neat. Anyways, we'll do more later, and that's it for now. Hey everybody, so we have this kind of cool thing. So we have some big Pokemon art. I don't know if this looks like paper mache. So we got Mewtwo, we got Rapidash, we have Lapras, we have Rayquaza. It's pretty cool. It's neat when you see people who actually like put some effort in and make something really neat. Now, there's no statue of me here, which I take as a personal affront, but it is what it is. So we got the Doctor Who fan base. As you guys know, I really, really hate the Doctor Who fan base, but those are pretty cool Daleks, I gotta admit. So over here we have a special treat. We have the Ghostbusters of Ontario. I don't know who he's supposed to be with the dual-bladed orange lightsaber. It's cool, whatever it is, but I don't know what it is exactly. So we have the police have a booth, of course, and we have the Ontario Ghostbusters. So I guess it's kind of like the 501st. It's like a group of men and women who get dressed up as Ghostbusters and kind of celebrate the movies. But I think they also raise money for charities and that kind of thing. So that's pretty cool. I mean, we can mock these guys and just say they're goofy or they're autists or whatever. But we kind of always, I guess kind of in our political spheres, make fun of, like, complain about the lack of social cohesion, the lack of kind of community institutions, that kind of thing. And at the expense of sounding like a complete spurg, in a sense they're doing that. They're building a community of like guys who hang out, who like watch movies together, who probably will help each other out if they're in trouble. We're trying to like raise money for a good cause. I mean, it just certain things look different in depending on the era. So if that's just kind of how it looks during this era, it's how it looks. You just kind of gotta take what you can get in life in a lot of cases. I don't know if that's the last stand of if the 501st and the Ghostbusters of Ontario are the last implicit stand of white identity, then hail Palpatine. Argent tries it. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Argent Tries It. Now I know I said that I discontinued this series because you ungrateful bastards wouldn't give me enough money. Crap, jeez. Sorry, it's so much effort to hold the camera. But I'm at the Death to Normies Party's annual convention, and someone was selling Duff energy drink. I figured I have to do an Argent Tries It on this. Let's look at the nutritional information. So it does have B vitamins in it. And B vitamins are good. It does have taurine, guarana seed, so it's kind of like natural. So it's a little bit healthy. It does have a lot of carbs in it, but it is what it is. So we're gonna try the Duff energy drink. So let's see. It's gonna be a little tricky to open. There we go. So you can see it's orange flavored. Kind of reminds me a bit of an Orange Crush. Let's take another sip. It definitely tastes like Orange Crush with more caffeine in it. It's not bad actually. I'm gonna take one more sip. I'm gonna give you my opinion. So Duff energy drink, not bad. I'm gonna give it a 2.5 out of 5. So just a daily reminder, if you take a picture of somebody who's cosplaying, then that's a microaggression. That's a form of rape. It's a violation of their consent. So if you've ever done that, then you're scum and you deserve, I don't know, you deserve to have Zoe Quinn do something to you. So just remember, cosplay is not consent.